So sometimes more than others, we see Nintendo get very active in the lawsuit and cease and desist and just full-blown come after people that are selling, pirating, or breaking any of their rules, especially when there is profits involved. And boy, are they in that mode right now. It could be tied to the upcoming next generation hardware launch and Nintendo really wanting to button up a lot of different things. Leaks we talked about recently on the channel seem to be more or less dead, like literally the bigger notable accounts that we knew about online, like Midori, which they kind of blew up their own account, to be fair, and they weren't who they said they were to begin with, but did have some legit information from inside things. And then Pioro, the notable red bird that just outright leaked all of the major Nintendo Direct announcements over recent years, is totally gone. Their account is nowhere to be found online, and it sounds like Nintendo tackled those leaks and plugged the holes. They essentially narrowed it down to where it was coming from, which was from like their back-end website data. And Pioro actually said to a straight up Bloomberg reporter that their source was indeed a Nintendo of Japan employee. So that was kind of crazy a couple weeks back, or maybe a week and a half ago, and now we have Nintendo back on the lawsuit hunt with one person that profits by modding Nintendo Switch hardware and selling it back to people with already pirated games on there, and another individual that's very active in the pirated Nintendo Switch software community, providing instructions and running a big community online. Essentially, there's also a small Nintendo Switch online announcement that it just dropped that I do want to briefly mention at the very start of the video in just a moment. So we're going to get on the same page with all of this info. Before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification to join Sunbro Nation if you're new here. And before we hop into all of the legal filings and the details and kind of the screw you mode that Nintendo is full on launching themselves into, as I do believe it somewhat lines up with where we are at with their larger hardware plans, and they want to plug as many holes as possible out there in the Nintendo Switch generation and people stealing from the Switch profitability right now. There is, however, one lighter piece of info amongst everything we're going to talk about today, which has to do with if you are not currently a Nintendo Switch Online member, but you like to take advantage of the free trials when they are around, Nintendo has now officially reset their 7-day free trial. Now, I know for certain this is for Nintendo of America, so North American region, you should be able to hop back in and claim another 7-day free trial of Nintendo Switch Online. Even if you have taken part in this trial in the past, it is essentially reset for all users. Keep in mind, this is not the expansion pack tier, but just the base tier. But we do have a host of consoles that you can play some retro video games for, and online game and cloud saves for your main regular console activities. So NES, SNES, and Game Boy libraries have really been built out. So if you're somebody who you haven't checked out Nintendo Switch Online anytime recently, it might be worth dipping your toe back in and seeing if it's worth a new sign up. Once again, I like the expansion pack tier personally, and I actually wish that Nintendo would indeed give a free trial for that one day, so you had a little bit more to play in the way of N64, Sega Genesis, Game Boy Advance, and all of that good stuff. But transitioning over to the active lawsuits that Nintendo's launching right now against two different individuals that will probably not go well. You might remember the Gary Bowser story. Still funny that Nintendo sued somebody that's last name was Bowser, but this guy is essentially indebted to Nintendo permanently from the sounds of things. Then he tried to maybe come back under a different name. Now he's gone. Team Executor, I believe, was the name of the company that he was a part of. But regardless of that, Nintendo typically wins when they go the route of a lawsuit. If you are an individual fighting a multi-billion-dollar organization, you're just probably not going to come out on the winning end of that deal. And you can see the following report over on VGC, which outlines everything that's going on here, where it reads: Nintendo sues Switch mod chip seller and Switch piracy Reddit moderator. Modded hardware and Archbox are the latest to be hit with lawsuits. The company has filed complaints against Ryan Daly, who operates a store called Modded Hardware, and our Switch Pirates moderator Archbox, whose real name is James Williams, Torrent Freak reports. The lawsuit filed against Modded Hardware claims that Nintendo contacted Daly in March and threatened to sue him unless he stopped selling modded Switch consoles and Mig Switches, which enabled pirated Switch games to be played on unmodded hardware. According to Nintendo's complaint, Daly agreed in March to stop selling the unauthorized devices, but continued to do so, claiming that he was looking for a new lawyer. Nintendo therefore filed a complaint at a federal court in Seattle, accusing Daly of 6 charges, including trafficking in circumvention devices and copyright infringement. The lawsuit claims that Daly has not only sold mods to customers, but also offered a mail-in service which enabled players to send their Switch consoles to have them returned modded, often with pirated games installed. Defendant not only offers the hardware and firmware to create and play pirated games, but he also provides his customers with copies of pirated Nintendo games, the platform holder's complaint says. Typically, when a customer purchases a hacked console or the circumvention services, Defendant pre-installs on the console a portfolio of ready-to-play pirated games, including some of Nintendo's most popular titles such as Super Mario, The Legend of Zelda, and Metroid games. Nintendo is seeking financial damages from Daly as well as the complete shutdown of his website. It also wants him to deliver to Nintendo of America all circumvention devices, hacked consoles, and any other physical or digital copies of materials that infringe or violate on any of NOA's rights. The second lawsuit was filed against Arizona resident James Williams, who Nintendo claims is the operator, overseer, and driving force behind several pirate shops through which the defendant has offered massive libraries of pirated Nintendo Switch games. Williams was also a moderator on the Switch Pirates Reddit group, where he used the name Archbox and helped users with questions about modding their Switch consoles. Defendant became a leading, if not the primary moderator of the Switch Pirates Reddit community, which he helped grow to nearly 190,000 members, Nintendo's complaint says. Since 2019, Defendant has posted thousands of comments and messages to the Switch Pirates Reddit group. Defendant's posts have included, by way of example, messages directing users to the pirate shops and offering technical advice and encouragement to other users about how to use the pirate shops, how to download and install circumvention software, and how to play pirated copies of Nintendo Switch games. The complaint claims that Williams has been involved in 3 pirate shops which have since been closed, and that the 4th is still active. It also provides quotes of Williams stating on Reddit that he refuses to pay Nintendo money for its products. Defendant is well aware that his conduct is unlawful and infringes on Nintendo's intellectual property rights, it says. Indeed, Defendant has bragged publicly that he is a pirate who isn't going to give Nintendo $50 for a game. Nintendo is seeking financial damages from Williams, as well as a requirement that he shuts down any remaining pirate shops and all social media accounts related to them. Now, these lawsuits, while naming the Mig Switch devices, I believe are actually separate from that, because that was traced to somewhere in Russia that originally launched that product. Maybe any of the resellers of the product is who they're going for, and the first defendant is indeed one of those. But yeah, the Mig Switch is going to be something that's obviously taken off the market rather quickly. It seems like people weren't even getting their copies that they ordered of those. And if you're not familiar, the Mig Switch is essentially a flash cart for the Nintendo Switch, where you can dump your own games, or more than likely what people are doing, pirate games offline, and load them onto that cartridge, then flip between your different games, all on that one said cartridge from the SD card. And it's getting around Nintendo's checks and balances for piracy. They don't actually know that it is a pirated game unless if you go online with it and it matches the same cartridge ID as what somebody else has out there in the wild, at which point we have even seen some screenshots pop up of entirely banned Nintendo Switch consoles that were trying to do that, because Nintendo is not going to not have checks and balances in place for this kind of stuff. And where it looks like these people really messed up and are in really hot water with Nintendo is they're essentially profiting off of Nintendo's property, which, if you're putting information out there, it is technically not illegal to mod your own Switch, provided you do it yourself and that you are only playing authorized software or software that you have dumped yourself. That is technically not illegal in US law. I don't know about every other region of the world, but you can do that by yourself. But what you can't do is have people basically send you their Switch and then you say, well, I'm going to mod it for you and load it with these pirated games that I downloaded online, and then send it back to you, and you're going to pay me money for doing said service. That's obviously going to get you in hot water. So is hosting websites that have a bunch of illegal Nintendo Switch ROMs on there that you can download for free and start playing on things like a Mig Switch or a modded Switch. Like, it's gonna be a problem. It's pretty obvious, and I don't necessarily feel bad for the individuals here. I mean, especially the first guy, like legitimate Daly or whatever his last name is. He got warned multiple times from Nintendo, like, hey, we're gonna come after you if you don't stop redistributing and selling this stuff and selling these services, and he just didn't. He just asked for more time to get a different lawyer, and then he never communicated back with them. And yeah, at a certain point, Nintendo's gonna say, well, we tried twice, we warned this guy, it's time to go to court, and that's absolutely what happened. Then you just have like outright brags of somebody who's basically running pirate shops online saying he's never gonna buy a Nintendo Switch game. Not a good look whenever you're running a large community that a bunch of people are coming to you for pirated software, and you're just out there saying like, yeah, screw Nintendo, I'm never going to pay them a dime, and I'm going to tell a bunch of people how to go pirate their games. Like, it's obvious that you were playing with fire at that point. So we will wait and see if some kind of Gary Bowser repeat judgment is filed, where unfortunately when you get singled out by Nintendo in a lawsuit, they're going to want to make an example out of you. They're going to want headlines that read like, these individuals now owe Nintendo 40, 50, 60 million dollars in damages, and they're realistically going to be paying that over the course of more than likely the rest of their their lives if they don't win some jackpot or create some ultra successful business somewhere along the way. So share with me in the comments down below what you think the reason for Nintendo's uptick in legal activity is recently. You think it's tied to their plans of their next gen hardware launching? They want to button up some loose ends out there and shut down some of these pirate shops online for the current Switch? And let me know, if you're not a Nintendo Switch Online member currently, are you going to be checking out the free trial now that the 7-day reset period has been reset for all users? So thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. Make sure you share all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below before you leave, regardless if we agree or disagree. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.